The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
Exciting. It is a beautiful Wednesday, September 12th. It is Video Games Day. This is the day where we celebrate video games, and they're just not for kids anymore. They've become very popular. Oh, there we got Mrs. Pac-Man coming for us. Yeah.
I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to
Well, I haven't heard that song in about 30 years, I have a feeling. Anyway, it is a beautiful day for video games. I've been rather partial to first-person shooters for, I guess, since Doom came out. There haven't been a lot of Zork games, and although Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was probably my favorite game on the Commodore 64, even though it was all turn left, turn right, look up, put the babblefish in your ear, turn left. Video games, they become more popular. We see, I don't know if they're even video games anymore when we see things like Farmville, maybe on a very limited level that they have to do with video. But I don't know, video games to me have always been about pushing the envelope in graphics and going a little farther. I always remember my favorite games and what they were. My first video game, I had to program myself. It was called Star Trek. It resembled a lot more like Battleship in that you would shoot your photon torpedo at a location and it may or may not actually hit the target. But it was probably the first real video game out there. There was another one earlier called Lunar Lander that was actually written and the people at NASA played before personal computers were even available. Lunar Lander was always kind of fun. You'd have to continually adjust your angle and your thrust to make the landing on the moon. Another great one that I loved early on. Probably the news, and I think it's going to be the news for the next week because of the political implications and the ability for the Mideast to always be a tinderbox. But of course, our ambassador was killed last night, and the first reaction I guess, from the staff was to apologize and basically decide that the right of free speech was the first thing we needed to apologize for. There is a book. It's called Guilty Men. It was first published in 1940. It outlined the 15 public figures for the policies towards Germany, Italy, and Japan in the 30s, and for their failure to equip the British Armed Forces adequately. Basically, there's always the iconic picture of Neville Chamberlain holding up a wonderful piece of paper saying peace in our time. The belief that insane or evil people can be reasoned with is just beyond me. There are people that believe stuff that just a normal human can't believe, and therefore they kind of push those beliefs on to other people. They've got to have kids, they've got to believe it, and sometimes it's true. A lot of times it isn't true. There's no way that you can throw 7 million people or 6 million people in a gas chamber and have the same kind of values that we have today. Right now we have a sect of Muslims that are basically for some kind of insanity that runs the gamut way beyond what a normal person would. Only about 25%, or even maybe a little less, they think, were actually card-carrying Nazis. That's all it took to drive and lead the rest of the country into a war that ended up, eventually at the end, almost 70 million people were dead. These small wars, these kind of things need to be solved when they're small. Weakness almost always means that it's going to get worse. To me, when I hear this kind of rhetoric from our was supposed to be our Foreign Service staff, and basically saying and apologizing that we have free speech in America. I just find it disgraceful, and it makes me think of the guilty men of 1940 and the people that, when they had their chance, decided it was a lot easier to be a ostrich and stick their head in the sand than know that there are truly evil people in the world. This was not just a bunch of people that got together and decided to get drunk and cause problems. More and more as the news comes out today, we're finding this was a concerted effort by people that seem and will do us harm if they have a chance. And they probably cannot be reasoned with. Like the Terminator, they're going to continue killing until we actually do something about it. The belief that we can do nothing about it is going to actually bring about the exact same results we've seen before. And, if you've got people that are truly nuts, sometimes you just can't reason with them. But always look to history. The old saying is anybody that ignores history is doomed to repeat it. I suspect that especially in the annals of and aisles of higher education, they just don't really talk too much about the guilty men out there. They actually talk about the people that, so many people died during the war. It's hard to say that if you spend the lives of 1,000 people now, there's no way to prove that you saved 10 million later. But this is the kind of stinking thinking that really makes the lessons of history, for me anyway, disregarded. Anyway, my opinion piece for the day. Apple did roll out their iPhone Dog and Pony Show. It started at 1. I read a few of the headlines. I'm going to try to catch a few more of them during the break. Last I looked, it didn't look like Apple was going very far. It was up like about $3, up about $7. I do not like the way Apple is trading here. I suspect that we could see some sell-off. There may be an organic reason for Apple selling off. We may get into that later in the day. I suspect it may be more of a tax issue over the next 3 months than any real weakness in the stock. But certainly no huge blowout. As far as I can tell, no talk of the iPad mini, although everybody and their dog knows about it because they've ordered parts for it, but nothing real new. Just from what I caught early on, the new connector, which is called Lightning, I don't know if that's such a big deal. The new earphones for it, called I think what they call them, earbuds. Not earbuds, something else. Anyway, they've got a new cute name for their headsets. But other than that, not a whole lot to cheer about. And that they're only up about $2 gives you a good indication of what's going on in the marketplace. Volume so far today, about 2.6 million shares, or excuse me, 2.26 billion shares on the consolidated tape. So volume is fairly brisk for what has been a kind of a sideways day so far. We continue to track and try to look for stocks that are truly moving, but at the most part, we're seeing a lot of the stocks decidedly mixed. More news, Spotify, I've talked about them for a while. In my Tech Insider newsletter, I talked a little bit about why I think that they're a much better bet than, let's say, Pandora. And there's some fairly decent reasons. If you want to get a 2-week free trial of the Tech Insider, you can always go to the front page of TFNN.com and check it out. But TechCrunch has gotten word that Spotify is working now on a browser-based player to augment the one that is now a native client. I installed it. I like it. There are some legal reasons why Spotify right now has a very good head start over Pandora that I covered in the newsletter. But if it was a browser-based product, I think it would be a lot better. It took a lot to install it, get it set up, and learn the interface of Spotify. If you didn't have to spend 5 or 7 minutes actually installing it, it may even be a better proposition. And it'd be nice if I could just open it up here at work without having to install it. as a native application in Windows. But I think these guys pretty much have it right, or as right as it can be for streaming music. Nuance, Intel has announced that it's got a new voice assistant. This is from the exact same people that did Siri. Nuance Dragon Assist Beta is what it's going to be called. It is going to be in future iterations of the Ultrabooks. Peter Mahoney, a Chief Marketing Officer at Nuance, has confirmed that. So Ultrabooks and PCs, Ultrabooks are basically a construct of Intel. If you come to these specifications, then you can call it an Ultrabook, and we'll put our stamp of approval on it. Of course, you have to use an Intel processor, but they're going to actually put this together for voice recognition for Intel-based, basically the laptops. At the bottom of the hour, we're going to have Robert A. Green. He is a CPA, deals especially with the market and stock market, people that are traders like us. He's written a blog article. We're going to talk about that for pretty much the remainder of the show. And we'll get into some reasons why I think it's going to be very interesting, and some things that are changing if you're doing your taxes that you need to be aware of before next year starts. There are going to be things, and a lot of people have talked about ways to get around them. He tells you why they will not work with the IRS, and we'll catch the rest of that later. Had a short question here before the break. We are going to wanted to look at, I guess it's Shangyu.com Limited, CYOU, and see what I thought about this. It is one of those companies that I can't find a lot about, mostly because they are a Chinese company. Let me get to the profile. When I'm looking at them, it looks like a very thinly traded stock. Hopefully I've got the right symbol here. Develops and operates online games in the People's Republic of China. The company is primarily involved in the development of MMOGs, which are massive multiplayer online games. Probably a good business to be in. The problem is the accounting of all Chinese companies are dubious at best and outright frauds at the worst. So I would wonder about investing anything in Beijing, China right now. Most of these companies have eventually blown up. I'd have to do a lot more research to find out if these guys were real or not. In the den, yes. The headphones are going to be called EarPods from Apple, and kind of look a little bit different. I never liked those hard plastic type of headphones, but I like the nice foamy ones. We're going to look at a few charts real quick, and then we're going to be back at the bottom of the hour and talk with our new friend, Mr. Green, about taxes and traders.
Kate Stalter's exciting newsletter, Low Priced Leaders, has just launched, and now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial. Every Wednesday afternoon, Kate sends out her weekly newsletter to her subscribers, where she focuses on small cap stocks with market caps under $2 billion, as well as low-priced equities with share prices ranging from $5 to $12. Kate tracks a variety of stocks with a combination of strong technical support and solid fundamentals. Many of the stocks featured will be recent IPOs. These newer issues are often some of the biggest price gainers in the market and provide an excellent opportunity for substantial gains if timed correctly. You can catch Kate Stalter live on Tiger TV with her small cap roundup every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and visit TFNN.com right now to get your 2-week free trial to her brand new newsletter, Low Priced Leaders, while locking in the low introductory monthly rate of only $37.50 per month, almost a 50% discount. Act now.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, Kate Stalter, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Millionaires are made every day. The fact is, living your dreams is possible. Someone, somewhere is going to get rich. My recommendation is, let that be you. Each day, someone is making the decision to better themselves and creating a plan to fulfill their financial dreams. Let that be you. The key to turning dreams into reality is to take massive action. Let that be you. I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of the Money Master Show with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN, and I can help you with your journey to great wealth. I'll show you how to create the ultimate financial edge, a set of tools, insights, and strategies that are part of my daily newsletter service, Mastering Probability. You'll have direct access to me by phone, email, and my private library of trading and investing secrets for 30 days with an unconditional money-back guarantee. I'll take your trading to the next level. Click on my name, Steve Rhodes, on the homepage at TFNN.com and turn your dreams into reality. Mastering Probability, folks. Let that be you.
This segment is brought to you by Goldfields. For more information, just click the Goldfields banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
We're going to look at a couple of stocks here a little earlier than we normally do when we get into tax discussion at the bottom of the hour. JB Hunt is one of the few stocks out here that looks like it's made at least some kind of short-term bottom. JBHT is the symbol on it. It had gone below the previous low back on May 17th at $51.88. 1.7 million shares. Got into it with 1.3 million shares, about 50 cents lower, down to $51.31 on 1.3 million shares on September the 5th. We've slowly moved up above it. You normally want to see volume come in the next 3 days or so. Really haven't seen that at all, but it is one of the few stocks that actually has tested a low on lighter volume, pulled back up. I wonder if that doesn't mean that we're seeing some kind of top or close to some kind of top in energy prices. Another one that we were looking at is the DIAs. This is the one that actually has me more interested in the health of the market overall. We've seen a move up. The move has been very light in volume back from the $120 low back on June 4th. We get up now where we're testing the previous highs. Right now it's the May 1st high, $133.14 on 8.6 million shares. We've gotten into that in the last few days. 5.5 million shares, 4.8 million shares, 2.3 million shares, Yesterday, just under 3 million shares. Today, it's going to probably be coming in fairly light again. Let me see if I can get another look at this real quick. See if we get different volume. There we are. 1.3, 1.4. It's going to be, again, very light volume in here today. And the DIAs, of course, a lot of this is waiting for the Fed announcement tomorrow. There's going to be, I think, 3 different events. There's going to be the actual message come out, and I think that's at 12:30. Then shortly after that, maybe 45 minutes, there is a discussion or a brief that they'll send out, and then Bernanke's actually his press conference. So we're going to have about 2 hours of limbo tomorrow as we go through that. I suspect we'll finally get some kind of movement, an idea of whether or not they're going to have cuts before the election. My belief is that he will not do anything, trying to stay out of the election. The market hasn't crumbled so hard as to be an imperative to do it right now. He would probably rather stay out. One of the ones we've seen here is FistServe, another one that looks like it's trying to make slightly higher highs as we go into these into the top. Symbol is FISV. We see the triple top starting on the May 1st high, $71.74, 940,000 shares. Got to above it, but could not hold it on the July 5th high. Slightly less volume, about 10%, up to $72.93. We've got yet a third higher high, 650,000 shares, and we're continuing to pull back a little bit. 2 larger gaps, one at about $69, another one at $64 would be logical retracement levels. I suspect that a lot of these triple drives to the top actually can get back to where they started from, and on this one you would have to look back to the $55 level. What else do we have in here? Gold is actually starting to pull back a little bit. We've been talking about this for a few days. It hopped over a fairly decent gap. This is GOLD, Randgold Resources. I suspect that maybe this was some kind of exhaustion move on some of these gold miners and gold itself. I saw this thing pop up. It is kind of interesting in that the volume down was, if I remember right, fairly strong. 500,000, maybe not. So as we looked at that, we did have some decent volume, popped up with 950,000 shares, pulled back a little on 600,000 shares the day after the 114.11 high. We've got down 357,000 shares, continuing to look like we're pulling back on lighter volume. But of course, a lot of this is probably going to be resolved or won't be resolved until our wonderful man Ben Bernanke actually comes through. Let's see if there was one other stock I wanted to look at here before the end of the day. OIS. Where's that at? There it is. Oh, not going to have a chance. When we come back, we're going to be talking taxes with the green trader. And we're not talking about throwing away bottles and cans. We're talking about trading the almighty green. We'll be back in just a minute.
Heard Tom O'Brien on the air, and you've seen him on Tiger TV as well as being featured as a regular CNBC guest and contributor, and now you can have access to his expert trading advice each morning through his daily trading newsletter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives traders, investors, and money managers a thorough strategy for trading stocks, options, and indices every market day. Market Insights comes out each market day before 9:30 a.m. and provides traders with Tom's daily commentary, opinion, and specific trade recommendations on the markets. Using advanced Fibonacci methods, volume indicators, Gartley patterns, candlestick charting, gaps, and market timing, Market Insights will give you specific trade recommendations including entry, stop, and exit prices. The summer is over and traders are back. Get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com.
'Cause I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to the bank. 'Cause I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to the bank. 'Cause I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to the bank. 'Cause I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to the bank. 'Cause I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to the bank. 'Cause I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to the bank. 'Cause I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to the bank. 'Cause I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to the bank. 'Cause I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to the bank. 'Cause I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to the bank. 'Cause I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to the bank. 'Cause I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to the bank. 'Cause I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to the bank. 'Cause I got a pocket full of quar
If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time. Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportion of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney believes that a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what asset allocation and the Morgan Stanley Smith Barney financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Certified Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC. Member SIPC.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Well, we're going to look at some more charts, and hopefully we'll get Mr. Green Trader on the line here in a minute, but he's lost somewhere in the ether at the moment. So anyway, Olin is another one. Let's see what else we have here. Open table. Another one that's been bucking up here at the highs. It is looking like maybe we're getting a signal out of it today. Open table, OPEN is the symbol. We look at $46. Even 2.6 million shares on the first high at $46 even on May 1st. 2.6 million shares. We've got trying to test the high again on 11th of June at $45.85, 1.4 million shares. In the last few days, we've had it try to challenge the top up here, and it came in, what else? 1.4 million shares, 1 million shares, 600, 500,000. We are going to be giving kind of a decent signal out here today. It needed to close below $46. Probably not going to get below that today, but that would be your signal that this thing is decidedly back in the trading range, which would take it back down to the lows of $33.53, 2.2 million shares. So we will take a look at that. And what else do we have? OSG. Take a look at that. We've been looking at these shipbuilders for a while. This had been going in a nice little arc out here. Little gap up in overseas shipping OSG. Not much to look at there. So let's look at PET Energy, PG, PH, Parker Hannifin. Parker Hannifin Corporation, PH, another one looking like it's setting up a little bit better signal here for us. We are looking at it coming back into the gaps that came down on heavy volume. This on very, very light volume. We saw the $87 high on May 21st set a high, and then two decent-sized gap down. This thing actually hit a fairly high volume low on June 4th. That had been consolidated pretty much out, but now we're moving back up in to fill those original gaps, of which there are two. The first one, the gap was down on 2.6 million shares, and the second one, it's 1 million, not that much. So we're basically looking at the gap down on 2.6 million shares. Unfortunately, we haven't had anything approaching that in the last few days. We've seen pretty much 1.6 million shares, 1.2 million shares, 900,000 shares, and 500,000 shares over the last few days. So we'll continue to take a look at that. What else do we have going on here? Pilgrim's Pride Corporation, PBC, another one that's I've been hoping that we'd get back down to $4.48, which is the last major low on PPC. We continue to see this at kind of making a little signal it's probably done. We want a low volume test of this $4.48 share low from July 31st once again, looking like we might find some kind of move out of that. Let's see what else we have. Pergo, another one of these companies that had a huge slam down, tried to get back into that gap and filled part of it over the last few days. This one looks like it's headed back down to test that high volume low. PRGO is the symbol on it. We see 104.86 and 3.2 million shares. That is fairly decent. The August 16th low here, but I would imagine that's an untested low. You certainly want to see this Pergo company test that 104.86 yet again today. But huge volume down, 800,000. What is that? Yeah, 3.2 million shares down, and we have seen a fairly decent volume level there come back in. So what else do we have here going on? We've got the Roland. Anyway, we've got something going on here. Hopefully, okay. So what do we have going on here? Rolling companies, RPM. RPM International. We've looked at this over the last few days. I started looking at having that here today. $28.19 on July 5th, 1.1 million shares. We are looking at it trying to get through that over the last few days. The volume's been about half. We're going to probably have a nice little doji out here today, setting up the end of this consolidation round. Unless we get some volume and move out of here, probably headed back down to the lows of $25 and some odd cents. One of the other ones that looked fairly interesting, STEC, the SSD company. This has not been one of the ones I'd like very much. They have a lot of accounting issues, but looks like it may be getting back down here to test this low, which may be a good signal for the other SSDs in the in that arena. $6.53, 3 million shares. $6.62. So it almost got there, but it still needs to retest that low. We might see this come back in that lane. $6.92, 1 million shares so far today. You'd love to see this thing continue to come back down and test that $6.63 low. back on that. So what else do we have? WTI, which is W&T Offshore Incorporated. It's out here testing a gap and trying to go through the previous high that we've seen. When we look at it, kind of interesting long-term gap down that goes and starts on 1.5 million shares, which is set up fairly decent resistance. We did try to get up to that on July 31st at $19.29, 2 million shares on $19.29. Good enough. What else do we have here? $19.95 today, 210,000 shares. So we'll look back at that. And WHR, Whirlpool Corporation, another one actually out here testing its previous highs, $79.39, and 2.2 million shares from March 14th. We're getting back into that high today. WHR is the symbol. As we look at that, it would be 455,000 shares here so far today. We look at $79.39, and we've got that. So anyway, we have March 14th, $79.39. So pretty nice volume out here. What we do notice is that in this last leg up, we've got about 30, I would say we're off about 30% on the volume all the way back up into this test of the high of just under, well, we got to $81 and what do we got here? Pretty much $81. We do have our guest on today. We had a little confusion. Hopefully we can go through the bottom of the hour or to the top of the hour with him. It is Robert A. Green. He is a CPA and he works with a Green Trader Tax. How you doing today, Robert?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. You wrote a blog that I saw a few days ago, and I thought it was very interesting because I don't think many people were talking about the changes that we're going to see over the, well, I guess into the next year, in the 2012 tax year, but as we file our returns in 2013.
Yeah.
What are those big changes that we should be looking for?
Well, most people, and by the way, I have a small echo that can be fixed. Most people are focused on the Bush-era tax cuts, and they're scheduled to expire, but there's uncertainty, and people are hoping they may be extended. That's not the main issue that I'm talking about today. What is clear as day and is on the books is the following tax hike that's part of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare. That is the Medicare tax hike up to 3.8% starting January 1st. Now, currently it's 2.9, so it's going up 0.9% on earned income. That's not the main issue. The significant issue is that it's going to apply now, the 3.8% Medicare tax, to all unearned income. And this is the first time that unearned income has been subject to Medicare taxes. Now, it's only on people over the rich income thresholds, $250,000 for married filing joint, $200,000 single, $125,000 married filing separate. So if you have any type of unearned income, whether it be investment income, capital gains, royalties, rents, passive income, interest, dividends, it's all going to trigger this Medicare tax. And that's a major tax hike that's on the books, and it starts January 1st.
And in fact, that was what really caught me, is that I really hadn't heard anybody even start talking about that. Now, in your article, you talk that even if they reverse some of these taxes, that in 1994 there's a precedent, and they may not do that, right?
Well, yeah, in 1994, Medicare used to be subject to the base amount like Social Security, and they raised the base every year, but after the base amount, you were finished. You didn't have to keep paying the tax. But what happened in 1994 is they tried to do universal health care, and Hillary Clinton actually had this idea: why not tax all earned income to Medicare, untether it from the Social Security base? They said, yeah, that's a good idea to help pay for universal health care. And the cautionary tale here, which is par for the course, is that they passed the tax hike, but they never passed the universal health care. So the benefits went by the wayside, and the taxes stayed on the books.
Now, one of the other things I see is the marriage penalties back also.
Well, the health care mandate and penalties, that's been the main event, what the Supreme Court upheld as a tax. And that doesn't kick in until 2014. So we have some more time to see if there's a new administration in Congress that may seek to undermine that, because it was passed in reconciliation, so maybe through reconciliation they can reverse that. But we have another year to wait for that to kick in. And there are questions about state exchanges, federal government. The Supreme Court did say that states can't be muscled by the federal government on these state exchanges. So the IRS has said, well, if people don't have a state exchange and they use a federal-backed plan, we're still going to have the penalty. Well, some accountants think that they can't do that. So there are more challenges ahead. But this Medicare tax is different, and it's on the books, and it can't be easily unwound.
One of the other things I noticed is that you talk about your blog that some people are saying that you can do and avoid this with an S-Corp, but you don't believe that.
That's correct. Some of the initial reports were, well, maybe you can be cute with the S-Corp SE tax reduction strategy, which is a proven strategy for reducing self-employment taxes, that's FICA and Medicare, on earned income. But we've done the research, and in fact, Congress specifically addressed this loophole attempt and said the door is shut, that you cannot use that strategy to decharacterize this income as unearned income subject to this tax. So the S-Corp structure will not avoid this tax.
When I guess when you pretty much do that much research, you don't think that there's any other way to avoid it either.
No. Well, it is a new tax, and we're on the lookout. We have our eyes and ears open, but from everything we've seen so far, there's no way around this. And it doesn't make sense to trade in a C-Corp because then double taxation kicks in, and C-Corps are bad vehicles for trading. We do think a good way to avoid it is to trade in a retirement plan, and then retirement plan distributions are not considered unearned income. So more than ever, traders should consider trading in retirement plans to build up tax-free returns until retirement. And if you trade in a Roth plan, it's tax-free permanently.
When we're going to be going to break here in just a few seconds, can you hang on? We've got a little 5-minute segment before the top of the hour.
Good.
I appreciate it. We'll be right back with Robert Green. He is a CPA and Green Tax, and we'll be back with him in just a second. I wanted to ask him a few more questions about 1099s and what we do when our broker-dealer doesn't get it quite right.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pezzavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the Rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Time is the great equalizer of all mankind. Time doesn't care about winners or losers, who succeeds or fails. Time only cares that you played the game. Question: are you playing the money game? Is your money working as hard for you as you are for it? I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, a daily trading and investment newsletter service, and we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary. In year 1, we generated a 30% profit. Plus, I provided 26 hours of live coaching to my clients. My daily newsletter service is available by 8 a.m. each day and covers the stock, futures, currency, and commodity markets, along with all the current patterns that you can trade. Each newsletter is packed with education, and it's yours for as little as $3 per day. And for the next 30 days, you can try it risk-free. Click on my name, Steve Rhodes, on the homepage of TFNN.com and begin your journey to great wealth today. If you're waiting for a better tomorrow, remember this: today's tomorrow will soon be yesterday, and your clock is ticking. Mastering Probability. Now is your time.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
We are back with Robert Green of Green Trader Tax. He is a CPA and specializes in traders and handling their tax returns. I wanted to ask you a question because I saw it on your website, and since I've been a victim of this a few times, the idea is that the 1099-Bs are always accurate from your broker-dealer.
.com or greencompany.com. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's a tongue twister. Right, this year is a huge problem for securities traders, not futures or Forex traders, securities traders. The IRS rolled out their new cost basis reporting. They want the brokers who used to just report proceeds to also report cost basis so the IRS can see if people are fibbing about their gains and losses or not. Well, it was always difficult to report just proceeds, but a lot easier than tackling cost basis. Cost basis, you have wash sales, all these other issues. Well, the rules were complex. They weren't standardized. They were late with the requirements. Brokers were late dealing with it. Tax season hit us. That could happen this year as we hit the fiscal cliff. You got to get this stuff into the IRS early enough to get the forms out and to get the rules to the 1099-B providers. The whole thing was botched, and what it's exposed is sloppiness, but on top of that, people never understood that the broker's rules are apples And the taxpayers' rules are oranges. They're different rules. So even in a perfect world, if your broker didn't botch it, there still would be important differences. So bottom line, you can't just rely on your 1099-B to prepare and file your new Form 8949, which does all the cost basis reporting and feeds into Schedule D. You can't rely on the 1099-B. You need your own system. And the system we recommend is TradeLog software, third-party program. We've added the tax knowledge to it. Barron says it's the best every year, and it's the only good solution that we know of for this problem. TradeLog calculates wash sales between securities and options, substantially identical positions. Brokers only are required to do identical positions. So between cutoffs and for wash sales and more, and lots of other problems around wash sales. Brokers report potential wash sales, but most of those wash sales go away, but the brokers still report them. So if you're a taxpayer and you rely on your 1099-B wash sale number, you might be really overpaying your taxes. I think you'd be crazy not to get TradeLog to check it out. Why overpay your taxes?
What else do you do there at your company?
What GreenTraderTax.com does is we're a CPA firm. So tax preparation for traders is our main business. We also do it for hedge funds. We also do audits for hedge funds. And I personally consult lots of traders on their taxes, and then we have a whole team of CPAs that do tax preparation. We have CPAs who do that TradeLog accounting. We set up entities for traders because they get lots of tax breaks with an entity, like retirement plans, health insurance, and then they don't have to file that Form 8949. They can elect mark-to-market accounting late in the year right now, only with a new entity. And we represent clients before the IRS when they have trouble. We have a whole line of trader tax guides. We have the free stuff, the blog, the webinars. So definitely visit the site if you need help.
And how do they contact you?
Just go to greentradertax.com or call our toll-free number at 888-558-5257.
Thank you very much, Robert Green.
Thank you, David.
Bye.